Can the Lume Cube 2.0 replace all the other lights in your camera bag? And for under $100, exactly how rugged and durable is it? Let's find out. Hey, I hope you're doing well. My name is Jake Sloan and I create content here on YouTube to help solo creators be successful by reviewing equipment that makes that process easier and doing tips and tutorials on how to use that equipment to tell better stories. Today we're reviewing the Lume Cube 2.0. Disclaimer, Lume Cube sent these to me for free, but they're not paying for this review and they didn't ask me to say anything specifically other than to take these out, test them, and give my honest opinion and feedback about them. As a solo creator on the go, I'm always on the lookout for small pieces of equipment that are rugged and durable and that, if possible, can replace multiple pieces of equipment that I normally carry with me in my camera bag. They have to be able to withstand harsh conditions, extreme temperatures, and hold up to a fair amount of abuse. To test these out, I want to bring you along with me on a short 3-mile hike deep into the heart of a glacier ice cave in the middle of winter in temps well below zero to test out whether or not this can replace my flashlight and to see if we can do anything with these to get some good light painting pictures. Now, if you've never been in a glacier ice cave before, it's a surreal experience. It's like stepping into a different planet. There's nothing that seems familiar or normal about it. And the deeper you go into the ice cave, the less light there is. Now, some ice caves are really beautifully lit and look somewhat like this. But this particular ice cave goes deep, deep, deep under the glacier, and there is no natural light once you get deep down inside. So this is what a glacier ice cave is like. It is so dark when you get down inside that you can't see your hand in front of your face because there is absolutely no light at all in these places. And then depending on what kind of glacier ice cave you're in, you might hear the sounds of the ice shifting and moving around you, and that's just slightly unnerving. But it's one of the coolest places that you could ever experience in your life. So we ventured a couple of thousand feet down inside of this cave to find a place that was completely, totally pitch black. Now, it's amazing how well this little light that is incredibly small but has a really good battery life, even at 22 below zero, will illuminate the inside of a glacier ice cave. Now, after a few attempts of getting the camera settings set up correctly for what I wanted the end result to look like, we finally were able to get some really great light painting pictures using the Lume Cube 2.0. After 8 trips into those ice caves this winter, I can say that these things work in all kinds of conditions and are extremely rugged. I went into those ice caves when it was wet, everything was dripping because snow was melting and there was a lot of water running through that river. And I also took them in there when it was 22 below zero. I think you saw in the video that they illuminate a lot of space really well, and that was generally only at 50%, which means the batteries would last me a good 2 hours or more, even in those extremely cold temperatures, which is impressive because batteries generally don't do well in really cold temperatures. I've even taken these out into the middle of a big frozen lake to illuminate an iceberg that was frozen into the lake, and they did really well and lasted a really long time, even though they were basically buried in ice. Now, for this to be the only light I'm going to throw in my camera bag, it not only has to function well as a flashlight to be able to light up large spaces, which means it has to be powerful, but it also has to be able to be very controllable so that I can use it in light painting settings like you saw, and it has to function as a really good on-camera light. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take another light with me. Now, Lume Cube redesigned a few things to make it better as an on-camera light, and thankfully, when you buy this, you get this frame and these 2 little gels. This is a warming gel, which I don't use. This is a diffusion gel, which attaches magnetically to the frame. To test whether this can act as a sole light on my camera to light up subjects I'm filming, including myself, I took this with me on an astrophotography trip to a mine in Alaska. We're up here at Hatcher's Pass. Got the Tamron 70-28, which is what I'm filming this on right now on the A7 III. I'm also going to film a time lapse with the Sigma 16 on my A6600. It's a little windy. It's pretty cold. We'll see how long I last, but we're going to do some astrophotography and some star time lapses. All right. It's just a quick 1 mile run up this snow-covered mountainside to get to the mine. No big deal. It's cold. The wind is blowing. It's at times like this I start to question why we keep doing stuff like this, Keith.
I don't know. That's a good question.
But we're here. So we're gonna set up the time lapse facing this way into that spot of darkness. And then we're gonna take photos facing that way into that spot of darkness. You're gonna do two things: time lapse, astrophotography, and I'm using the Lume Cube 2.0. We're gonna do some light painting on these old buildings too. You know, unless we freeze to death, in which case, whoever finds this camera, please post it on my YouTube channel. Thanks. All right, taking a few pictures. It's freezing cold. I just about froze my hands off.
It's cold out.
You can see Keith's shadowy figure back there.
Hey everybody.
Somewhere. It's really cold. We're gonna call it here. I'm gonna do the rest of this in the studio. All the footage you saw there was illuminated by one Lume Cube 2.0 with this diffusion gel. And I gotta say, it worked really, really well. That was on a pretty low brightness setting. It was extremely dark. There was no other light except for the stars. And it's impressive how well this works as an on-camera light. I also put this on my drone and used it to light paint a few of the buildings up there, which I think turned out really cool. And for one final test, I want to test and see whether two of these Lume Cubes can replace my whole studio lighting setup in here. Not so much as that I would be using them as my regular studio setup, but just in the case of if I travel somewhere and I need some portable lighting to set up something in whatever space I'm in to be able to record stuff like this, can two of these lights essentially give me the same effect or close to the same effect of using large softbox lights that I use in here. This scene right here is being lit by two Lume Cubes, not counting the lights in the background, of course. I've got one over here that's shooting at about 50% to give me this nice edge light, rim light, and kind of fill in this area. And then one here that's shooting at 100%, bouncing off a white 5-in-1 reflector, just to light up my face. The great thing is that I'm shooting with the same camera, same lens, and my ISO is only at 200 as opposed to 100 where it normally is. So in a pinch, you can use these for a lot of different purposes. After thoroughly testing this over the last few months in all kinds of extremely harsh conditions, I can safely say that this is the one light that is going to be going in my camera bag to replace anything else I've taken with me when I'm going out and shooting in the wilds. It's small, it's lightweight, it's compact, it's extremely durable, and it withstands the conditions that I've thrown at it and that Alaska has thrown at it incredibly well. If you want to know more about other equipment that I use and test here in Alaska, you can click or tap right there. I put together a short playlist that will take you through some of the other stuff that I think is fantastic equipment for solo creators. As always, if you have questions, ask in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers.